Hello friends, and welcome to a snow-covered edition of Bronco Sports Weekly. I'm Sean Fagan, giving you the best of what's going on in Bronco athletics this past week. Let's get right to it. Men's basketball picked up a pair of MAC victories last week, defeating Toledo 79-56 at University Arena on Wednesday and beating Northern Illinois 71-34 on the road on Saturday. Shane Whittington averaged a double-double over the course of both contests, averaging 10.5 points and 11.5 rebounds per game. That was good enough to get him MAC West Player of the Week honors for the third time this season. David Brown averaged 14 points per game off the bench, hitting 64% of his threes. Great weekend for the Broncos. Women's basketball picked up their first MAC win of the season, dealing the Akron Zips their first conference loss of the season with an 84-77 triumph at University Arena. A.J. Johnson scored 21 points on 7 of 10 shooting. Markeisha Harris dropped 19 on the Zips and added 12 rebounds for a double-double, and Miracle Woods finished with 15 points on the day. Gymnastics earned their first MAC victory of the season last weekend as Kayla Weber took first in 3 of 4 events and broke the school's all-around record in the Broncos' victory over Eastern Michigan at University Arena. Weber posted the first-place scores in the uneven bars, floor exercise, and balance beam, and just missed out on a 4th victory with a second-place finish on the vault. The Broncos with a big matchup this weekend against Kent State. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Hockey split a home-and-home series with Bowling Green last week, taking a 2-1 victory at home on Saturday against the Falcons. The Broncos rebounded from a 1-goal deficit in the first period, with Luke Witkowski evening the score with a power play goal in the second, and Mike Leone potted his 5th of the season in the third to give the Broncos the win. Frank Slabowski needed just 18 saves for the victory. Women's tennis swept a home doubleheader to start the season on Monday, defeating Dayton and Valparaiso by 7-0 scores at West Hills Athletic Club. 4 Broncos went 4-0 overall on Monday. That would be Maggie Raminzi, Kelsey King, Jill Pastunik, and Nini Sujashvili. Caroline Alec and freshman Haley Shanahan, who made her Bronco debut on Monday, each went 3-0, and Kathleen Hawkins went 2-0, playing just against Dayton. The Broncos will be on the road this weekend in the state of Indiana. The men's tennis team also earned a victory last week, defeating UIC 5-2 at West Hills on Friday evening. Senior Ross Vanderploeg clinched the match victory for the Broncos, defeating Alan Reefer 7-5, 6-3 to ice the match away. Also earning singles wins were Nadine Indre, who is 6-0 overall in the season, as well as Aaron Wong and Pablo Mora. And Bronco Track and Field took 3rd place overall at the Jack Johnson Invitational hosted by Minnesota, finishing just 7 points behind 2nd place North Dakota State. Junior Andrea Hiller PR'd in the shot put with a distance of 48 feet and 2 3/4 inches, the 3rd best indoor mark in program history. And Stephanie DeGreet posted the 5th best weight throw in school history at 56 feet 1 inch. Rebecca Hall and Ariel Arnold also posted PRs, theirs in the 60-meter dash. And now let's take a look at some of the highlights from this past week. Men's basketball hosting the Toledo Rockets on Wednesday, and the Broncos would put it on the boys in the blue and gold. Nate Hutchison with the layup. He would have 9 points in this game, working down low in the post, but the star of this contest was David Brown, the senior, coming back from a knee injury that robbed him of a year of play. He was 5 of 7 from beyond the 3-point arc for a career-high 15 points. The Broncos would defeat Toledo by a final score of 79-56. Now on to women's basketball. The Bronco women also looking for their first conference win of the season, hosting the Akron Zips, previously unbeaten in conference play, and I do mean previously. Miracle Woods with the layup in the post. She would have a great game, 15 points for the Broncos. A.J. Johnson was dropping dimes for the Broncos as well. She would finish with 21. Alex Morton fires the shot from the left wing from just beyond 3-point range. The Broncos would put it on Akron by a final score of 84-77. The Broncos picking up their first conference win of the season under head coach Shane Klipfel. Markeisha Harris would finish with a double-double in the game. On to men's hockey now. The Broncos in Bowling Green. Broncos looking to avenge a loss on Friday night to the Falcons. Luke Witkowski would tie the score at 1-1 in the second period with the shot from the faceoff circle. Entering the third period, the Broncos tied up at 1. And Mike Leone, he's been on a hot streak lately. Wraparound backhand, slips it past the goaltender. The Broncos would defeat Bowling Green 2-1. Frank Slabowski with 18 saves in the win. Gymnastics hosting Eastern Michigan on Sunday in Parents' Day, and the Broncos would get one of the best performances in school history from a freshman. Kayla Weber took first place in 3 of 4 events and broke the school's all-around record as the Broncos defeated Eastern Michigan 194.975 to 194.475 in the first Mid-American Conference meet of the season. Weber had a first-place score on the uneven bars and the floor exercise and won the balance beam. She was a runner-up on the vault. That gave her an all-around total of 39.300, which broke the program record set by Jennifer Sturgis back in 2007. The Broncos now 2-0 on the season, having defeated Michigan State and Eastern Michigan. Their season will continue on Friday when they take on Kent State, picked to be the top finisher in the Mid-American Conference this season. Well, folks, that was last week's action. Let's take a look at what the Broncos will be seeing this weekend. Men's basketball will take on 2 of their in-state arch rivals this week when they host the Eastern Michigan Eagles on Wednesday and travel to face the hated Central Michigan Chippewas on Saturday. Both of those games are scheduled to tip at 7 p.m. Of course, the Broncos lost both games to Eastern Michigan last year, the first time in head coach Steve Hawkins' career. He's dropped 2 games in a season to the Eagles, so the Broncos will be looking for revenge against the reigning MAC West champions. And I mean, Saturday night, it's Central, Western. What else is there to talk about? Huge game, obviously. If you're a Bronco Insider, you're in luck. Both games will be available with your Bronco Insider login. That does include the road game on Saturday at Central. Women's basketball will travel to the polar opposite ends of the MAC this week when they play at Northern Illinois on Wednesday and at Buffalo on Saturday. The Broncos earned their first MAC win of the season last week when they beat Akron, and they will look to make it 2 in a row with a win against the Huskies. That game is an 8 p.m. Eastern tip, while the Buffalo game a 2 p.m. tip on Saturday afternoon. Hockey plays a big weekend series at home when they host the Michigan Wolverines at Lawson Ice Arena. Both games will be televised, so make sure you come out and show the world just how great the atmosphere at Lawson can be. The puck drops at 7:05 on Friday, and that game will air on the Comcast Sports Network, and at 7:35 on Saturday, as that game will be featured on Fox Sports Detroit. Gymnastics will face one of their toughest tests of the season just 3 weeks into the year when they travel to Kent to take on the Kent State Golden Flashes on Friday. Kent has long been one of the top gymnastics programs in the conference, but the Broncos are on a roll to start the year, and they're looking to knock off the top dog. Men's tennis will host a doubleheader on Friday night against a pair of Midwest region opponents when the Broncos bring in the IPFW Mastodons and the UW Green Bay Phoenix. The doubleheader begins at 1 p.m. at West Hills Athletic Club with the match against the Mastodons, and the match against Phoenix is scheduled for 6 p.m. Live stats will be available on WMUBroncos.com. Women's tennis will be on the road for the first time this season when they play at Butler on Saturday and at Big Ten foe Indiana on Sunday. The Broncos started off the season strong with a pair of wins in the season-opening doubleheader and will look to tack onto that total with strong showings in the state of Indiana this weekend. And finally, the track and field team will also be in the state of Indiana this week when they take part in the Indiana Relays. The Broncos looking to continue their strong start to the season. The throws had a strong week last week in Minnesota, and the sprints also showing up. So the Broncos looking to keep that early season momentum going. And that will do it for us this week on Bronco Sports Weekly. I am Sean Fagan saying join us again next week. Same Bronco time, same Bronco place.